Back about 3 years ago, I carried literally nothing every day except my cell phone, wallet, and sunglasses. Then for my 25th birthday, my best friend's dad bought me a Buck 110, and from there, it sat on my desk for a couple of months before I finally came around to carrying it daily. When it comes to this knife, what is there to say that hasn't already been said? It's a nearly 60-year-old design at this point. To me, with this knife, it's not so much about the knife in and of itself, it's about the story that comes with it. Before I carried this knife, this is what I thought of when someone said pocket knife, and I'm sure I'm not the only person who thinks this way. Also, too, if you go to any YouTube video about this knife and scroll through the comments section, you'll probably find some old-timer commenting something like, "I've been carrying my Buck since it was 1970. Surprisingly, in getting set up to do this video, I managed to find the box for this knife. I'm surprised it didn't get lost when I was moving. So here's a little overview of what you get in the box when you buy a Buck 110. You get the knife, a sheath, and a little message from the Buck family basically thanking you for buying the knife. If you're into specs, this knife weighs 7.2 ounces according to their website, or 7.4 ounces according to my scale. The blade length is 3 3/4 inches. Total length of the knife is 8 3/4 inches when it's open. The blade is made of 420 HC steel with brass bolsters and Crelicam ebony wood. The wood is some partnership with Taylor Guitars that Buck has. Now, I don't carry this knife in a sheath, but here it is being hip carried, and a shot of me carrying it in my pocket, how I've carried it for like 2.5 years. The Buck 110 is the thing that got me into EDC. I personally don't feel as though it's too heavy to carry daily. However, I will say, I know that Buck makes a lighter version of this knife with a pocket clip, the Buck 110 Swim Select, and there's a chance that I may buy that and retire this knife from carrying it every day, just for convenience sake sometime down the road. Carrying this, both this and the Leatherman Free P4, does get a little bit heavy. Even though the Leatherman does have a knife, I still want to carry a dedicated pocket knife either way. Straight out of the box, I remember this knife was very stiff to open and close. With time, the action smooths out, but if you repeatedly just open and close the knife outside of when you're using it, you can help speed that process along. Speaking of opening the knife, it's a two-handed job in my opinion. Yes, you can grab the tip of the blade and try to drop it open, but then you risk also dropping the knife. You can also try to push it open with your thumb like this, but even for me, a person with decent sized hands, this requires adjusting my hand positioning while I'm opening the knife, and it's probably just faster to do it two-handed. The Buck 110 is a solid knife, especially if you're just starting out carrying a knife or if you aren't into EDC at all like I was. The only complaints I have with it are that the two silver rivets in the wood stick out a bit more than I think that they should, and also the inside of the knife gets pretty dirty over time, but it's easy to clean out with a Q-tip. Personally, I think the Buck 110 is a great knife, and I plan to keep it in my collection for the rest of my life, and I don't think I'll ever part with it. If you don't have one, it's probably worth picking one up. Have a good day, and take it easy.